This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. Gil Alexander, Kelly Midland.
Heyo.
On this Monday morning in June 8th.
It's heating up.
The dog days are about to be here. So let's cling on to the NBA and Stanley Cup Final as much as we can.
That's right. Do your part, San Antonio.
That's right.
The hockey's doing its part. Good job, hockey.
That's right, San Antonio. Try to win one of these. Game 3 tonight at MSG, Madison Square Garden. It will be bedlam. Bedlam in New York City today for Game 3. Knicks up 2-0 in that series. We'll discuss it momentarily. And then the Stanley Cup Finals, the Stanley Cup Final has been, through 3 games, ready for this? The greatest Stanley Cup Final there's ever been.
It's hard for me to argue against that. Yeah. It's been bonkers.
Greg Peterson will join us talk Major League Baseball. He's got his plays for the day. Raheem Palmer going to join us talk NBA Finals with us. Wes Reynolds in his normal Monday spot. Carl Sack on the NBA Finals, game number 3 tonight. He will join us as well on the show. And then we're looking forward to this more than anything probably today, with apologies to all of our guests. But Kelly and I, not officially in the VSiN Splash Sports Survivor Contest because we're not allowed to, being in the state of Nevada, but we're going to do our mock. World Cup Survivor mock.
If you could have seen,
and by mock I mean mockery.
I don't know what was going through your head when I texted you on Saturday morning. But if you could have seen me, that's like that Charlie Day gif, right? Like if you could have seen me after 27 minutes going through World Cup brackets and writing down who my survivor, I was like, oh my God, I've spent so much time on this.
So glad you said
I'm
this.
like, I better text Gil right away of this is the way we're doing this because I can't do it any other way down this.
I'm so glad you said this because none of it, right? Once it gets to the knockout round, there's no, if you look at groups A through, what does it go through? L?
L, something like
right.
that, yeah.
Yeah, or A through L. There's no order to what happens after that, right? Like group D2 faces group G2 or whatever it is, right? I got to the point where it was so ridiculous to try to do it that I just gave up on it.
No, which is fun. If you are playing in this, right, you kind of have to do that and hope that your bracket is going to be closer than what it ends up being.
You do, but I almost think it's overkill. I almost think it's overkill. Well, Kelly and I will tell you anyway what our first 4 survivalists. That's the first task in the Splash Sports World Cup Survivor Challenge. You got to pick 4 teams to advance out of the group stage. That's the first task. As far as everything after that, we'll worry about that later. Mm-hmm. But keep in mind, all 4 have to advance. You lose any of your 4, I lose any of my 4, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't be that hard, right? Right?
No, come on, Gil.
It's 12 groups, and there's 4 teams. There's 48 teams, and 32 make it to the knockout stage.
It's just grabbing.
Only 16 teams get eliminated.
So it's like when we talk NFL Survivor, right? It's just great going through, like, who am I so confident in to make it out of a group and then lose immediately afterward?
Right. That's the whole task here, right?
Yep.
That's the. If you're doing it perfectly, that's the way to do it. We'll talk about that. Let's just real quick. Stanley Cup Finals, because Stanley Cup Final singular deserves more than the NBA at this point. 3 games in. We obviously didn't get a chance to talk about Game 3, but we have had just the 3 most awesome games. The first game, remember, Carolina's up 2 goals. No team on the road has ever come back from multiple goal deficit in a Stanley Cup game number 1, and Vegas goes ahead and does it. Entering that game, road teams, I should say, were 0-55 when down multiple goals at any point in a Stanley Cup Final game number 1. And Vegas comes back, wins that game. 1-0 Vegas. And then remember, Vegas takes a 2-0 lead in game 2. At that point, midway through the third period, you're like, this team's never losing a hockey game ever again. And then Carolina says, hold my beer, watch this. And they come back. Vegas does force overtime. Carolina wins game 2 in overtime. Just bananas. Turnabout is fair play in game 2. Game 3, we come back to T-Mobile this weekend. And The Golden Knights go up 4-0. 4-0 on the quickest hat trick in the history of the Stanley Cup Final. Mitch Marner, 6 minutes, 10 seconds. He had a 4-point second period. Historic.
Mm-hmm.
Just unbelievable. Conn Smythe is his. 4-0 Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, he is a bigger favorite in that market than the Golden Knights are to win it.
Well, at that point, it was Locadocious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, Locadocious, by the way. And then the third period, the Carolina Hurricanes scored 3 goals in a span of 39 seconds. And you're like, what the what? I believe is verbatim what you said. And the Hurricanes force overtime, and they go to overtime. They play into a second overtime period, and the Golden Knights end up winning it 5-4. They had Carolina basically had 2 own goals in this game.
Yep.
Shea Theodore gets the credit, original Golden Knight, and the Golden Knights win 5-4. And if you're a Golden Knights backer or a Golden Knights fan, it's got to be. It was more relief than elation. It was just like, good God, if we had lost this game.
It was locked up. It was done.
It was
right?
done.
It was done.
I believe Locadocious was said earlier on the show. 5-4 Golden Knights they win that game 5-4. The only thing that's
well said. It was relief. I was out too.
Total relief.
I was out. I could feel the tenseness of every Golden Knights fan out on the strip watching the final seconds of that game. It was relief when that final goal went in.
It's been incredible. The only thing that's been tried and true through all these, the overs, has just been an overfest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you think you're handicapping the sides on these. You're a better man or woman than I, if you think you are. Game 4 tomorrow night back in Vegas. Canes trying to knot it back up at 2 apiece. Golden Knights trying to take the 3-1 lead. What a series so far.
6 players all time that have won the Conn Smythe on the losing team. So only 6. I actually thought it would be more than that. You got right now over at FanDuel, Mitch Marner minus 230, and the Golden Knights are minus 188.
If you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan and you're watching Marner do this, for all those postseason appearances and the number of goals he scored in the postseason combined with Toronto, he's already exceeded that with the Vegas Golden Knights. It's incredible, man. It's absolutely incredible. We'll see where that goes tomorrow night. And then there's the NBA Finals, where the New York Knicks Friday night took it seems like it's forever ago at this point.
Sure does.
2-0 lead over the San Antonio Spurs. And this, I was on, John Yastrzemski and Will Hill were kind enough to have me on yesterday morning to discuss this game. It's a super interesting handicapping case study tonight for Game 3 at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are a 2-point favorite, 2.5, right? You got to look around. 2 is the consensus on the New York Knicks. And most people look at that, right? The Knicks are up 2-0 in this series. They have it on their racket back at MSG. Most people who look at that are like, wow, how is this only 2? And it's fascinating because, yes, the Knicks are up 2-0, both on the away court, right? Mm-hmm. No team in the history of the NBA, we've talked about this in the Spurs case, has ever lost the first 2 games at NBA Finals at home, and come back to win the series. Never happened before. There have been 5 instances where a team down 2-0 has won the NBA Finals, but they were down 2-0 the conventional way. Right? Losing on the road the first 2 games. So the Spurs are up against that. But as far as tonight's concerned, and you know, John's a New York guy, and I was listening to their segment before I was on, and I think I agree with him when he was saying, he goes, listen, the controversial, remember the Spurs came back from a 14-point deficit. They erased it, but then there was the foul on the Anunoby 3-pointer. And I think correctly, it had to be called.
Man.
I don't think there was a I really, listen, and I'm a Spurs guy,
yeah,
right? I got the Spurs 19-1 ticket. I think you have to call that. And then the Wemby turnover, right? Rebound Spurs, 9 seconds left. Wemby passes it to Castle. Castle turns his head as Wemby is throwing it. By the way, where do you put the blame on that play?
You know what?
Wemby or
I've
Castle?
decided I'm not blaming any one individual.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's mostly Wemby, but I think it's a combination.
I think it's a combo.
I think it's bad luck. You go and rewatch that play. It's Castle looking back at him, and as soon as Wemby stops the pass, he turns his head and starts going up court.
I was Zapruder filming it. I was trying to figure out. I was like, it's both those guys. But anyway, and then Brunson gets fouled right on the steal, I think despite the flop or whatever, the embellishment, I think you have to call that foul.
It was a foul.
Right? Now, I say that and I'm like, I wonder if New York Knicks backers and fans would be this objective if it was reversed. Right? So I believe all those things, and the Knicks deserve both of those games, both games 1 and 2. But for this game tonight, what I think is so interesting is the Spurs did have double-digit leads in both games 1 and 2. The Spurs did lead late in both of these games.
Mm-hmm.
First game, Wembanyama was 6 of 21. He was much better in game 2, but game 2, the Spurs missed 8 free throws. The Spurs made obviously the turnover we just talked about was obviously the big blunder, but there's plenty of other things in game 2, right, where Wembanyama missed a dunk and it went the other way. Basically what I'm saying is Knicks absolutely deserve to be up 2-0, but there's a world where this is not 2-0, it's 1-1, and maybe it's 2-0 the other way. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's why the line is what it is and why it's not moving despite Knicks cash.
Yeah, line makes pretty good sense to me, right? We closed at like 6.5 in San Antonio. Whatever, what we're weighing home court for in these playoffs. This has been a fairly normal swing. And yeah, I don't think that Knicks have been a better team. They've been the better team so far. When it
mattered, they were the better team.
And when it's mattered, especially, they've been the better team. So yeah, I feel the same way. We've seen these Spurs leads late. These games could have gone either way. But, the other thing I'll give the Knicks, too, I don't think we've seen the best game out of them yet either. That's where I don't think we've seen it out of San Antonio, and I don't think we've seen it out of New York. So credit to them for getting 2 wins so far, and Mike Brown's been completely out-coaching Mitch Johnson.
There was the Fox, the Dylan Harper disappearance in the fourth quarter of Game 1. That was also an interesting thing. Knicks favored by 2. We'll talk more about it with all of our guests. We'll talk more about it after the break. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, we recap the weekend NBA, NHL action. It's a good MLB card, and then we hit it hard. Game 3, Madison Square Garden, $9,000 get-in price. Paul Bovey will be there. Knicks fan, his thoughts on the series and what transpires, and Nick Whalen to cover it all with props and best bets. Follow the Money, 4 to 7 Eastern, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, SiriusXM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis.
VSiN, the sports betting network.
Championship season is here, and VSiN Pro can help you bet it smarter. For a limited time, lock in early bird pricing on our football season special for just $175. Sooner you sign up, the more value you get. With full access to everything we do across every sport through the Super Bowl. That means the NBA Final, Stanley Cup Final, World Cup, plus MLB all summer long. You also get daily best bets, real-time betting splits, AI-powered prop projections, and 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app. And on June 22nd, that's 14 days from now. That's 2 weeks, Kelly. That's a fortnight, I believe they call it.
A whole fortnight.
We'll release our NFL betting guide to attack futures, win totals, division races, and the full season ahead. Wow. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe now. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. We get tweets beating the book. This is from Nemo. Could be a dicey play, but I like the Knicks first quarter minus a half a point. Even money, he says. Sure, the Spurs have to be desperate, but I'm rolling with the early energy at MSG. What say you?
I say gut. Gut says Knicks come out like 90% from the field in the first quarter or 10% from the field because of that. Like it's gonna be such a circus tonight.
I did not bet game 1. I did not bet game 2. I let everybody kill themselves in the VSiN Killer Sports Challenge.
Yep.
Saw you all die in front of me.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you locked that up, right? It's done?
I am the only person that could tie me now would be Kyle Aikens if I lost all 3 and he won the last 2. Otherwise, it's
you
over.
haven't played it all.
I haven't played it all.
I read that wrong this morning.
But just to answer Nemo's question, Nemo, I'm gonna take the Spurs tonight for the first time.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Taking the Spurs
I got some
today.
Gill belief.
Master of Puppets. Hey, guys, I bet on hockey because I know I'm getting 2 own goals plus a few tip-ins. Well, Master of Puppets, kind of my feeling exactly. Danny Rode. But it's also awesome, right?
Oh, it's so
If
great.
betting is one thing, awesome is another.
Yep.
Danny Rode. Knicks in 4, here we go. That's 7, he says, then a 7 a.m. flight to Vegas Thursday morning for him. This is for Danny. He says VGK in 5 or with tickets to Game 6 next Sunday at T-Mobile. Homer, yes. Best week ever coming? Absolutely. Danny's pumped.
Yeah, wow. What a
go,
week.
Danny.
What a week for Danny.
Mike at Mike K4561. Are you Mike Krzyzewski, by the way? As a rookie college World Series bettor, I found out that no lead is safe. Great stuff as always. It's College World Series is awesome. By the way, if we didn't have 2 suspensions of games yesterday, we would have had no college baseball today. But instead, Alabama and Oklahoma are going to complete their suspended games today. Both are in great shape to advance. And it looks like we know, barring ridiculous comebacks here today in those 2 games, we know who our 8 teams are in the College World Series. You know what I've noticed? Can someone explain why you can't find the old Fakakta bracket the way they used to lay it out anymore? It's still the same format, but they don't show that anymore.
Yeah.
The way that they used to.
You start seeing that more when the World Series
Well, the World Series is about to start.
Or when the field's set.
Well, I mean, but
Actually, the bracket doesn't even
The bracket should be already set. They're only showing like an original standard bracket this year for some reason, but it's the same format.
But it doesn't get wacky right until you start playing games, because then you get to like
No,
the losers, like the loser side and the winner side.
This is where it starts to get. This is where the bracket would always start, right? It's broken up into 2 sides. This one is a double elimination, 4 on each side. Then it becomes the College World Series itself as a best of 3. Anyway, someone could help me out with that. Chris Hartman, Gil, Kelly, McNabb took an 87-mile-per-hour frozen puck to the beak, got himself off the ice in 8 seconds, had plastic surgery, played the next game. Next 5 weeks on the pitch will show us what real manliness looks like. Chris, it's I'm glad you said it, not me. Flop Fest coming June 11th. Pumped for the World Cup?
What's that?
Are you pumped for the World
Yeah,
Cup?
man.
Me too.
This would be great to mix in.
Oh, I love fake injuries. Dusty. Oh, hey, hello, gents. Gil was looking good yesterday, and that background was lovely. Thank you for noticing, Dusty. Appreciate it.
I actually meant to ask you about that on the break. That's good to hear, Dusty.
Yeah, I did it from San Francisco. I don't know if you guys know this. California's pretty awesome. This just in.
Solid connection and everything worked well?
Yeah, worked well.
Okay.
Everything. My joke to John and Will off air was like, oh, it's so terrible here. Everybody should stay away. It's awful. Oh, my, everything you're hearing is so true. Oh, God, the streets. It's glorious. Thank you for noticing, Dusty. I appreciate that. Chris Valika had an interesting point this morning on the group text as well about the NBA Finals. He's like, imagine if this were the 2-3-2 format that they used to do. So when I was super young, Kelly, they used to do the NBA Finals as they do now, 2-2-1-1-1 in terms of home court. And then the Celtics and the Lakers played each other every year, felt like anyway. At least those were the dynastic teams of the 80s. And so finally David Stern and all of his wisdom, and those teams were taking commercial flights back then too. It wasn't like they had charter. It wasn't like they were on chartered flights. So they're taking commercial flights coast to coast. And because Boston and LA were so dominant, David Stern was like, I got it. You've played through this whole playoffs. It's 2-2-1-1-1. We're doing this. Why don't we just make the NBA Finals 2-3-2? That'll save everybody some trouble, right? Takes away a couple flights at least. And they did that. They did this from 1985 all the way to 2013. They went 2-3-2. And 2013, finally, the NBA was like, all these teams have chartered flights now. They have their own airplanes. And it's also not Boston versus LA every year.
We'd like to spread out the finals more. Yeah.
Why don't we just go back to the 2-2-1-1-1, which they did. And so we've had that again ever since. But Chris is right. The point remains, if it was 2-3-2, this shiz would be over, right? In a way some think it's over already. But if it's 2-3-2, we got 3 in a row at MSG now.
Yep.
Boy, that would be an impossible hole to get out of for the Spurs, it would seem.
Reminder, Knicks 37-11 straight up at home this season, regular season and playoffs, and 33-15 against the number.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. I mean, it's another part of the reason why they changed it, right? Because of situations like this, you steal one on the road, you could close it out at home in 5. Knicks steal 2 on the road. Get to on the road. Head back home. Yeah, I'll be staying away from this side in total. I would think the one bet I'm looking at the most tonight is Dylan Harper over his PRA. I just don't know the Spurs from what they've seen these first couple games. How can you? He's been one of their most effective offensive players. I think he got 32 minutes last game. It's got to be there, Gil. You and I have been saying it for the past couple rounds. Like, he's got to be out there. He's got to be playing. Steph Castle's struggling a bit this series. The Knicks defense has been so good. It's been so good. It really can't take anything away from them. Yes, Spurs are missing shots. So are the Knicks. But the defense has been really, really impressive, especially with Karl Anthony Towns. I do not know how Jalen Brunson's the favorite to win Finals MVP over Cat.
Oh, I don't either.
Just biggest name on the team, I guess.
He has gotten the best of Wembanyama. Period.
Like on both ends of the court.
End of story. Though we were talking about Karl Anthony Towns at 20-1, then at 10-1. Now he's plus 170 at DraftKings, plus 165 at FanDuel. Your point remains. I don't know how he's.
Still think it's a good bet.
I don't know how he's longer than Brunson, but he should absolutely be the favorite at this point. Wemby, the only Spur on that board besides De'Aaron Fox, all the way down at 180-1.
Like, yes, Brunson's had some good scoring games. The efficiency is not there, though. 19 for 56 from the field for Jalen Brunson.
Also, if you're a Spurs backer, the Mikal Bridges playoffs, he does not miss shots. It feels like every time he shoots, you're like, that's going in.
If we want to get romantic about the game of basketball,
let's get romantic, baby.
These past few championship teams, it really has been more about what is the best 4, 5, 6 guys we can get out there through the course of the series. Whether that's the Thunder, whether that's the Celtics of the past couple years, or this Knicks team, right? And it's this team would not be there if it was not for Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, and I don't think they win a championship without those two playing at the level that they're playing at.
I don't feel romanced, but that's old news.
So Mikal Bridges, we've been ripped apart for years for this trade. The 5 first-round picks, you're coming and delivering in major moments. I mean, this is going to be...
You win a championship, it's all worth it.
I heard this brought up a week ago, and I thought it was a great conversation. Knicks win this championship. Best player on this team is Jalen Brunson, right? How far back do we have to go to find a worse best player than Jalen Brunson on a championship team? Because you got to go back a little bit.
Well, I think Cat's the best player on the team, but okay, I understand what you're saying. You'd have to go back a ways.
Best I could come up with 2014 Spurs is that we're going back to that.
If the Knicks do sweep the Spurs, old schoolers in the NBA will tell you this will remind them of the 1975 finals between the Warriors and the Washington Bullets, where the Bullets with Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld were massive favorites, and Rick Barry and the Warriors won 4 close games to beat the Bullets. That's how far back you'd have to go if this is a sweep in the end. The other thing about the Cat sort of dominance over Wembanyama as we hurdle this forward to the NBA draft on June 23rd, a lot of people feel like this is a huge plus for Cam Boozer. That they think the biggest comp for Cat is Boozer. That Boozer does everything that Towns does and is already more developed than Towns was at that age. And this just makes Boozer look like this awesome, even more awesome prospect than he already looks like.
Yeah, we said a couple weeks ago, I saw a couple reports that there were a couple NBA front offices that had him in number 1 on their board.
Well, how about some baseball? How about some Greg Peterson? Should I ask him about his dating life? I think I should. Next, on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime.
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Unmatched transparency with records updated daily, AI betting analysis, real-time global betting info, and alerts directly from the pros. Check it out, sharpplays.com. You can scan the QR code for more. We get tweets beating the book. Always appreciate the feedback. Paulie68, did you see this? A judge in district court in Lubbock County, Texas. This is from Pete Thamel. Has granted the injunction requested by Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby. He is set to be eligible for the 2026 season. Paulie68 says, not sure this has been talked about enough in gambling world because this is wild that he's now able to play. It is wild that Brendan Sorsby can play.
It just came down, right?
He just came down. Okay. Could anybody have been more, pick your word, brazen, stupid, whatever the word is you choose to use, about betting while being on an active roster than him, and he's playing?
Yeah. Might need C Najad's help on this one.
Yeah, we do.
An injunction, right? So we're just kind of holding things up for a while. So guessing he gets to play. Like, I know, is Texas Tech not going to, make other plans? Like, you would have to know he's there for the whole season, right? Before you start designing things
Let's get our legal correspondent seeing a shot on this. Tronsky, hey, Gil, 3 things this morning. Zverev finally got his title. Yeah, we got to talk about that coming up at Country Club. And thanks for covering tennis so few actually do. Appreciate you. My pleasure. And see, my Spurs ticket is dead if Wemby continues to play away from the bucket. He's the tallest dude on the court. Coaching? Grant at Betting X Factors. Every time Wembanyama gets a rebound and dribbles up the court, it makes me nervous. Sure enough, when it mattered most, ... And Nash at Last Name Nash. I see some other shows are now interested in Greg's dating life. Never forget, ANG was the first to get dating recaps. You know, we're the first to do a lot around here. I'm just being honest. We were the first to talk about Survivor for a year. We're the first to talk about college baseball. We were the first to have the Jardiance lady on. I mean, it just goes on and on. Greg Peterson joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. Greg, what's happening, man?
Not too much. I do think that you need one correction, though. The first one to talk about my dating life was Matt Human, so keep in mind when I was filling in with Follow the Money with him many, many years ago, he very, very much brought it up a lot. That
is true. Matt Humans was the first on your dating life many years ago. He deserves the credit for it. I am happy to give him credit for that. Though because you're here now, if I may follow up, obviously you were here on the show last week. I asked you about it. I didn't think it would go where it did. You gave us a very PG version, and then the rest of the week, you were on Twitter talking about all kinds of other dates. So you elaborated on the one we talked about, which was news enough. Then you elaborated on some other dates. After all of this, I guess my first question to you is, was that cathartic for you? Are you going to share more stories with us? Do you wish you hadn't? All of that.
I hope I don't share anymore because that means I've had more bad dates. All that I shared happened within the last year. I've lived multiple lives of bad dates within a year. So we're just hoping and praying because Texas Roadhouse was kind enough to send me a care package and a dinner for 2 that I just get a good date out of it and we can go back to having, shall we say, not horrible dates. The bar has been set very, very low. We are looking to be able to pick ourselves up. I will work hard in the meantime to try to hopefully manifest itself into just some good fortune and to be able to get up off the mat, for lack of a better term.
Okay, but can I ask one more question before we get, because you got your Fab 5 baseball picks coming up. But I do want to ask you, did you learn anything in talking about all these stories on Twitter? You got a lot of feedback from a lot of people, right? And it spanned the gamut. Some were very encouraging, right? We all love you, Greg. We want you. We want only the best for you. You're the nicest guy in the world, which is where I am on it. But then, you got some folks who, on the other side of the spectrum, were sort of like, hey, Greg, you keep behaving like this, you're going to sort of invite a certain result. In other words, hey, here's the money up front to do this, that, and the other. You're going to keep running into that proverbial wall, if you will. Did you process any of it that way, or are you simply, no, this is who I am and this is how I'm going to operate?
I am a very kind man. I am very much looking to have a future with someone, and that said, I probably am a little bit too early to commit to things.
Okay.
I will admit that. That is a fault of my own. I own it. That's just part of who I am. I need to be a little bit more disciplined with that regard, but that said, yeah, maybe I am inviting sort of the wrong people, and at the same time, there's just points where you have such bad luck, you toss up your hands and you're saying, it can't get any worse than this.
We love you, Greg. We love you. It's awesome.
Hey, Greg, how many more followers do you think you added over the past week? Random question.
I have no idea. It doesn't matter to me. I just hope that there are some men out there that read the story and being like, hey, now I can feel a little bit better about myself now.
I was just going to Greg's Twitter page and that jumped out to me as a random question. But yeah, in case you're out there listening and have no idea what we're talking about, at GUnit_81, go check him out on Twitter. And Greg tweeted the whole thing.
Greg knocked Matt Kalish off the front pages of the gambling Twitter world, so I think most people know about it. Greg, last thing, would you want to do a reality show on this ever?
Oh, absolutely. If there's any reality show looking for something, if there's anyone out there with a book deal, where do I sign up? I am more than happy to share my story. And anything that happens on a reality show, probably not as bad as what's happened to me in the last 12 months. It's all uphill from here.
Andy Cohen, Netflix, if you're watching, there's your guy. All right. Greg's Fab Five. Let's start with the Mariners and the Orioles today. You have a play on the total.
Absolutely. I'm going to be taking a look at the under. I've really loved what I've seen out of Emerson Hancock. Been one of the better stories in all of baseball thus far this season, as he's getting about 8.9 strikeouts of 1.9 walks per 9 innings. The Orioles have been a solid offense. They've been a top 10 offense in terms of run creation at home, but with the way that the Mariners also have a top 10 bullpen in terms of ERA as well, and the Mariners, they themselves just have not been a great offense this year. As we know, Cal Raleigh is currently out of the fold for the Orioles. They didn't quite announce Chris Bassett as a starter, but he should be pitching in some form of capacity in this game. 3.09 ERA at home. He's been much better at home rather than away from home. Do you think that keeps things a little bit lower scoring, like the under? And if you can get this down closer, like a minus 126, minus 125-ish, I'm seeing it right in that neighborhood. We'll take a shot on the Mariners on the money line as well.
Rays have hit the skids in the month of June, 1-5 to start the month. They're at home at the Trop against the Red Sox. Kind of coin flippy. What do you have here?
I do like the Rays to be able to bounce back here. Red Sox just have not been a great offense this year. Less than 4 runs per game. That's a bottom 6 mark in all of baseball. And for the Rays, looks like it's going to be a little bit of a piggyback situation. Ian Seymour is officially listed as a starter. Mason Engler should be able to give you a few innings as well. I know that they officially have Ian Seymour as a little bit more of the opener. I think you could probably get like 3 or 4 innings out of both of these guys, though. Seymour by trade was a starter last year and was much better as a starter than he has been coming out of the bullpen. And for the Red Sox, their bullpen themselves has been pretty solid, but Giovanni Morin's on the injury list. Garrett Whitlock is on the injury list. And additionally, the Rays have the much better offense with likes of Junior Caminero, Yandy Diaz and company doing a solid job. That total of 7.5 for me is just a little bit too low in this case, especially with the Rays utilizing, shall we say, the piggyback situation. So like the over and the Rays at about even money on the money line.
Guardians are 7 games above 500. Just a thorn in my side. They did lose 2 of 3 to the Rangers, though, this weekend. In come the Aaron Judge-less Yankees. Guardians are minus 125 favorites today. Total is at 8.
And I do like the under. Austin Warren has been absolutely tremendous for the Yankees when he has been away from home. For Warren, he's been able to do a really good job in terms of keeping the ball in the yard. For Will Warren, he's giving up only 1 home run on the road thus far this season. Will Warren about a 2.25 ERA for the New York Yankees away from home. And additionally, for this Cleveland Guardians team, they've been a bottom 10 team in terms of run creation. Yankees, as we know, never the same team without Aaron Judge in the lineup as well. They've been averaging less than 4.5 runs per game ever since Judge has been out of the lineup. A little bit more capable than they have been in the past with the way that Ben Rice has been able to boom, but I think that you get a very low-scoring game here. Total of 8, do like it to the under, especially with Cleveland being a little bit more of a pitcher's ballpark.
Only 2 other teams that have started the month of June as poorly as the Rays have are the Reds and the Padres, and what do you know? They play each other at Petco tonight. Both of these teams 1-5 to start out the month of June. Something's got to give. Padres, minus 133 favorites.
And I do think that it's the Padres getting the job done. Recognize that they're dead last in terms of run creation thus far this season, but Andrew Abbott is not a guy that I believe in. Over 4 walks per 9 innings, right around about 6.2, 6.3 strikeouts per 9 innings, and Walker Buehler is a fielding independent that's more than a full point lower than his ERA. He's pitched better than that, and for the Reds, second worst in the big leagues in terms of bullpen ERA. Padres have Mason Miller along Jason Adam in the 8th and 9th inning. They've been a top 6 team in terms of bullpen ERA. I think in the battle of the bullpens, Padres get the job done. Do like them on the money line.
And how about some Vegas baseball tonight, Greg? Brewers and Athletics with the total set at 11.
Yep, and I like the under. Kyle Harrison is just that good. 157 ERA, 11.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. Now, obviously, Vegas is going to be a little bit of a bandbox, and it's hot out here, but it's less than 100 degrees today. That doesn't sound like much, but that's cold considering what it is in Vegas typically this time of year. A little bit cooler than normal. I think that's going to help out the total a little bit. And for the Brewers, they're actually last in the league in terms of home runs on a private basis. So give me the under there, and I'm going to take my Brewers on the run line as well.
Greg, thanks for the baseball picks, and thanks for being so open about the dating life. We appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Greg Peterson, gunit_81 on Twitter. Coming back, Country Clubbing next on A Numbers Game.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a numbers game, live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander. It's my little buddy Kelly Bidlin, everybody.
Hey,
Less than $2 bills.
That's right, man.
That was the biggest news, breaking news on the show on Friday, period. Steve Fezzik was reeling about that over the weekend.
He was.
Fezzik won't tell us his weight anymore, by the way. It's a whole thing. We keep asking him for his weight, and he keeps dodging the question.
And he also we never followed up with him on the, remember when he texted us or tweeted us from like the YMCA or something? We're like, what happened to Caesars?
Well, he must have had a deal. He must have found a deal, Kelly.
Better than the Caesars gym deal, apparently.
Oh, that's a good point. Rick Zapsky. Hey, is that our own Rick Zapsky?
That is our own Rick Zapsky, yep.
He says, Chauncey Billups is the easy answer to your worst best player question. It makes sense because that Pistons team and this Knicks team are a mirror image of one another, ridiculously balanced starters with a wildly underrated bench. Never forget the 2004 Pistons because Stephen A. before that series was like, Slobodan Medvedenko. He couldn't grasp the concept that the Pistons were going to beat the Lakers.
That was kind of the point of me bringing it up. But I would actually say I think Tony Parker, Spurs, since then would actually qualify for me. I mean, it's a lot of
Tony Parker.
It's a lot of the same points that Rick's making.
Tony Parker should be very offended by this.
Yeah, what? That I think Jalen Brunson's better than him?
Tony Parker was always a key cog in that wheel, though.
Sure. We're talking about best player on an NBA Finals winning team. It's like
Tony
Steph
Parker,
Curry and LeBron James.
Tony
and
Parker
Giannis.
was never the best player, though.
Yeah, I think that 2014 team he was.
Did Duncan play for that team?
Yeah, he did. He was getting up there in age.
Okay, just checking. Jimmy John. Yes, slipping into Jardin's lady reference early to get the week started. Right. Hey, man, you got to talk about her. Do we remember her name? Jardin's original Jardin's girl?
Oh, boy.
She was lovely, by the way.
I got it somewhere.
Leisure Suit Kobe. It's $8K to get in the door sitting in nosebleeds in NYC tonight for Game 3. $8K. And recommended to arrive 2 hours early for security and chaos. I wouldn't go for free. President's going to be there. Absolute cluster, you know what. He says in Orange County, Astros at Angels is $13 to sit in the sunshine with a couple beers and hot dogs. I can check the NBA League Pass on the phone. Leisure Suit Kobe's made his choice.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Handorf. My favorite response to Greg's stories was from Jason Weingarten, who succinctly said, "What the expletive, Greg?" Which would be an incredible name for the book and reality TV show. LOL. That is not my favorite Jason Weingarten comment. I don't know if he made this publicly or just to me on text. So I will share. This is in a great segment of Jason Weingarten on text regarding the Greg Peterson. Can we call it a saga?
Sure.
Jason, now let me see if I can find it here now. My favorite Jason Weingarten comment was, woman unconscious in the passenger seat, and Greg is like, well, while I'm here, Vermont's transfer portal situation isn't going to evaluate itself. That's my favorite Jason comment. Teddy Rack. There's no better sport in the gambling world than Greg Peterson. What a good guy. Absolutely. And No Emu Doug said, I would adopt the kid. However, my motives would include gambling profit, which probably makes it inappropriate. Okay. You ready to go country club?
I think one sec. I think this 2014 thing's really interesting because the other one, you know, won Finals MVP that year too.
Who that is?
Kawhi Leonard, but I'm not counting him because he's too young. He was too young at the time.
He doesn't count at that time.
Tim Duncan, 15 points per game in his age 38 season.
Yeah, you can't override Tim Duncan. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Parker was their leading scorer. But, you know, this was another one of those teams. This was the point to Rick's tweet, right? I mean, it's Parker, Kawhi, Duncan, Manu. Even Patty Mills scored double digits in that finals.
Patty Mills. Country Club, and let's go. Oh, yeah. Look at that solid glow sticks representation today. You know, it really comes down to is Darnell fully committed. I find that's the real.
He brings them, so yeah. He's got to be.
Yeah.
And then Chris Foster's back from tour, so.
Chris Foster touring with Joe Gibbs. Oh, I'm sorry, Freddie Gibbs. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that was
Freddie
his name,
Gibbs?
right?
No, not Joe Gibbs. Okay. Hanging out with Darius Garland. He's got a different life. He's got 2 lives, this kid.
He's got like 3 lives.
He's got a bunch of lives. Jump Boss says, by the way, the 04 Pistons and 25-26 Knicks couldn't be more different. He says, forget that, listener on listener crime. Pistons actually defended for 82 regular season games, then had historic defensive performances throughout the playoffs en route to a Larry O'Brien. I'm kind of with Jumbo on this. That team was its own thing.
Yo, sure. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm now comparing players. That wasn't how it started.
No.
We're now comparing teams. That's not how it started. Best player.
Who's the worst best player on a potential championship team? Yeah.
That's all I was going with.
Okay. Let's talk about tennis real quick, too. The French Open concluding this weekend. First, the ladies. Mira Andreeva wins her first slam. She beats our girl Maya Walinska in the final. I'm a little disappointed because we had Walinska 4 times for victory. We had her in the final, lost as a $3 dog. I'm a little disappointed in Walinska because, 3-2, she's up in the first set. It's on serve. And I felt like, and I've heard some others say this too, she kind of went away with what brought her to the dance. Spins, lobs, just clever tennis. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, she just kind of played flatter. Her shots are, I'm just like, what are you doing? You're not beating anybody that way. And she loses. But by the way, congratulations to Mira Andreeva. We always knew she was going to win a slam at some point. She gets it, and she gets it at the French. So good on her. Good on everybody who had her. And then yesterday, it took 5 sets. Got a little dicey there.
That was fun to watch, man.
But finally, that was not a classic, by the way.
It was not, but it was fun to watch at the end.
Not a classic, but in the 5th set, Sasha Zverev finally breaks free and wins the elusive slam that has eluded him for his entire career until this moment. He gets his slam. He beats Flavio Cobolli in 5 sets, and Sasha Zverev, after a near miss in the pandemic, in the sort of weirdest slam there ever was, the 2020 U.S. Open, where he had it on his racket against Dominic Thiem. He ended up gacking that final, the one where Djokovic hit the lines person with the tennis ball. They had to disqualify him.
I will never get that image out of my brain.
So it's like, sorry, Novak. I know you're Novak, but we got to disqualify you. Sorry. He goes, are you kidding me? Yeah, sorry. We didn't have to disqualify anybody. So he lost that one after having it on his racket. 2022, he has the catastrophic leg injury, tears multiple ligaments in his ankle in the semis against Nadal. We don't know if he would have won that one. 2024, was it 24 now? I forget the year. He loses to Carlitos in the French Open final, where one of the French Open umps comes off the chair, poses him on a call.
Great.
He lost also a slam to Sinner. I believe it was the Australian Open but that one wasn't close. Anyway, he gets there. And the question now becomes, as we head into grass season, which is already now begun, 2 tournaments on the men's and women's side, the question becomes, does this mean that Sasha Zverev is going to be a thing and he's going to win now multiple slams? And the answer is no. And no, I don't think so. Because Carlitos is going to come back and Sinner's going to come back, and he can't beat Sinner to save his life. So, yeah. Good, though. That's all. But you know what? Doesn't matter. He got his slam.
Right.
By the way, doesn't matter. People are going to take stuff away from him. They're going to be like, oh, well, of course he won it because Carlos didn't play and because Sinner had the heat exhaustion and then Djokovic was up 2 sets to none and he lost. You know what? All that's true. Doesn't matter. He got his slam.
It's good.
His slam.
Some people will be saying that about the Knicks if they win it, too. You can only play who's in front of you, right?
What will they say about the Knicks?
They had an easy path. You can only play who's in front of you.
You can only play who's in front of you. Yeah. Did you have a little JT Poston this weekend?
No. JT Poston's mom didn't have JT Poston this week.
Wow, there's been a couple of those tournaments this
year.
There's
been a couple of those recently.
Where the moms didn't bet on their guys.
Yeah, been a good run from an outright perspective, that's for sure. Yeah. Hell of a golf tournament. That was another one, though. I kind of like the couple of sporting events this week where I'm like, kind of tracking golf. A lot of my bets weren't going well. Then I'm like, yesterday in the tournament, I'm like, I don't even think this is going to be an entertaining ending. And then all of a sudden, Poston gives back an early lead, and you got this bunched leaderboard. JT Poston, Ryan Gerard, Wyndham Clark, Tommy Fleetwood, Sam Burns, all these guys are in the mix. It was kind of a nice little race down the stretch. Thought Tommy Fleetwood was going to maybe give himself a chance to finally get back in the winner's circle. That didn't happen. Poston and Gerard end up going to a playoff, though. Poston wins it in the playoff. So good for JT Poston. I know we had one listener who was on him at like 110-1 or something.
There you go.
Yeah, good on you guys back home who had that. Otherwise, we turn ahead to RBC Canadian Open this week, Gil. We'll have that before the U.S. Open.
It's the U.S. Open.
Yeah, next week. So what you usually get, it's actually kind of cool, RBC Canadian Open. You get a lot of like the Brits coming over that want to play in the Canadian Open. So Tommy is your short shot this week, a little under 12-1. Matt Fitzpatrick, same. And then it is Sam Burns, 13-1. Colin Morikawa out there in the mid-20s right now. Interested to see what he will look like. This is a big, big test week for Morikawa in the injuries that he's been battling through here this season before he heads to the U.S. Open.
Look how like long Rose, Koepka, and Lowry and Hovland are.
Yeah, Koepka numbers kind of jumping out to me right now. He's been playing well recently.
Yeah, and if this is a major, everybody, before any major,